Hello, I'm Jim Demler with Clark County Close-Up. Thank you for meeting with us.
Thank you.
First, congratulations on the new position. When did you start?
That would have been July 30th, so a little over a month ago.
Okay. Before we talk about your priorities as the county manager, let's talk about your background. Where did you grow up?
I grew up between both Kansas and northern Colorado. My family worked in the aircraft industry, so it was very cyclical, so we moved back and forth a lot between Wichita, Kansas, and areas there in northern Colorado around Greeley and Loveland area. So,
where'd you go to school?
Lots of places, actually. Even within, my younger days, I went to 5 different schools in 5th grade. I ended up graduating from Derby Senior High, which is a high school just outside of Wichita, Kansas. And so then did my undergraduate at Wichita State, went up to the University of Kansas for a master's degree, and then started another master's, didn't finish it, decided to go to law school and finish that at the University of Missouri at Kansas City.
Okay. So what inspired you to seek public service?
Well, when I worked at a law firm, the law firm specialized in working just with public entities, cities, counties, other local governments. And so I had a lot of interaction with a lot of different cities then, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I decided not to continue my other master's degrees, because I thought I'd be able to accomplish a lot more on the administrative side of it, and I'd had a lot of exposure through that working at that law firm. So that really piqued my interest. When I was in law school, I had an opportunity to go to Oxford for a program, and because I didn't have a lot of money to pay for it, I had to work multiple jobs, and one of those jobs was working part-time at Jackson County, and did that part-time. And then I went to work immediately after law school for the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, but Jackson County called me back and offered me a position, so I accepted that because it had really kind of whetted my appetite, if you will. So. Okay.
So I understand you have a wide variety of experience with local government. What types of positions have you held?
Sure. I worked, as I indicated, I worked at a law firm for a number of years. I worked at the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce for a year as a lobbyist. It wasn't something I really enjoyed. Very important and very useful for a lot of government entities, but I wanted to pursue something else. So then I worked for 13 years at Jackson County, Missouri, and that's largely the city of Kansas City. Okay. So it's a very large urban county. Oversaw a number of different departments there. There was a lot of turmoil in regards to some of the county executive positions there. So I decided I didn't want to remain there. So I went up to Marinette County in far northern Wisconsin and was a county administrator up there for roughly 2 years. And really enjoyed it up there. The summers, notwithstanding the last month, were much more like the Pacific Northwest. But I actually came out, I'd been out here several times before, and I'd had an interview out here, and I told my wife at the time when we drove through Clark County, boy, if this position ever came open, I would love to have the chance to interview for this, and that was 3 years ago. Oh. So I ended up moving back to the Kansas City area for some family reasons. And so I went and I was a city administrator for a small city just outside of Kansas City, and liked it there, but again, I saw this opportunity come up here in Clark County, so I was very, very interested, so I was very grateful for the opportunity to come up here. I've been trying to get up to the Pacific Northwest for quite some time. That's one of the reasons I got admitted to the Washington bar. So.
Okay, great. So for our viewers, kind of what's the role of the county manager?
County manager is basically, it's a little bit different than city managers or city administrators, county administrators. The terms can be somewhat interchangeable. They vary in their role. However, on the county side, you have typically a lot more of independent elected officials. For example, we have an elected assessor and auditor and other positions. So their employees are still county employees, but the electeds directly oversee them. However, the county manager is tasked with overseeing a lot of the other departments, the Human Resources Department, the IT department, and otherwise. So I still have responsibility for the overall budget of the county, however, and that's one of the most critical things that any county manager or administrator focuses on, and it's, in the last month, clearly been something I've been strongly focused on.
Okay. And do you report directly to the Clark County Council?
Yes, the Clark County Council, I'm essentially what you would call an at-will employee. So they hire and fire, hopefully not fire, the county manager, and so I'm an at-will employee, and I basically report directly to them.
And approximately how many employees do you oversee?
It's right now, the employee count is down. It's roughly about 1,600, 1,700. It's down considerably because of the ongoing budgetary strains that Clark County has had for some time.
Okay. How would you describe your management style?
I'm pretty open and inclusive. I mean, oftentimes when somebody asks you that question, you hear some fairly nebulous terms. I truly do value input from other people. That's the way I learn. In spite of having so many years of experience in county government, I don't care how many years of experience you have, there's always something new to learn. So I want people to, say, well, actually, I think it's this. I don't want them just to say it's a county manager. I can't disagree with them. I want to hear their side of it. I want to hear their argument and why they believe it's that. I need that information in order to process, in order to come up with a decision.
Okay. How have you been transitioning into your new position?
It's been, I mean, everyone has been great. Everyone has been great to work with. I really appreciate all the effort, particularly the budget is all-consuming. So the budget office has been doing a lot of work. We're looking forward to going to a new software package that I think may alleviate some of the strains. Because when you're trying to put together just short of a $1 billion budget, it's obviously a huge task as far as just keeping track of all those numbers. So everyone has been great. I've been getting great support. It's been spending a lot of time trying to get ready for the budget, as well as the myriad of other issues that inevitably come up in an organization this large. But I've been very, very happy with the transition. So.
Okay. Have you had a chance yet to go out and meet with community groups?
I have a few times, Identity Clark County as well as several others. The difficulty I'm having is I still haven't mastered the art of being in two places at one time. So I tell some people if I think parameciums or something can divide in two. Sometimes it would be useful. I look forward to being able to do that even more. I'm focused right now on the budget. I also look forward to being able to go out not only in the community but also to go out in the individual departments. I think my experience has been with county administrators and managers that you get stuck in the office too much, and you need to get out and actually just spend time in the department. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'm not certain every department looks forward to me being there. I don't really want to disrupt them, but I think it helps me in just better understanding the overall operations.
Sure, sure. So you mentioned budget as a top priority currently. What about other priorities in the next few months? Well,
the big one that we've been talking about for quite a while, which is inevitably tied to the budget, is going to be the jail situation. What we're going to do on that, that's really one of the biggest focuses for the next few months. We have a committee process to go up to examine this and to come up with a recommendation, and then to see about going forward. I think that there's a general consensus that we're going to have to do something in regards to our jail, both due to the condition as well as the capacity issue. So that will be taking a lot of time also in the next few months, as well as the next year.
Okay. What is the current financial status of the county?
Overall, I mean, particularly in regards to our other funds, it's pretty good. The exception to that is the general fund. And for those who aren't familiar with it, the county is operated with a series of different funds. And different funds often furnish different things. There's a road fund, there's a mental health, sales tax fund, there's a wide variety of different funds. We have 800 total million, maybe 900 million, depending upon how you want to count it, in total in revenue. Our general fund is only about 170 million roughly, and that funds several departments, and that is the fund that we're constantly struggling with because of basically just the revenue amounts aren't meeting the needs, the sheriff being one of the largest consumers, as well as a lot of other internal county departments, like I said, HR, IT, and whatnot. So that's a constant struggle with that fund. It's been a long-term struggle with that fund, and that's one of the things I'm primarily focusing on this year. But I want to also look at the other funds also.
Okay. So what is the current status of the budget process? Where are we?
We're right now developing the budget. I've been, like I said, the last month has been pretty intensive. We've had a lot of budget requests. Candidly, I'm not going to be able to, these are requests for additional increases in funding. The vast majority of them I'm not going to be able to fund. I simply, my first focus is right now is to get our budget back to where we have enough revenue to meet our current expenditures before I can even look at further additional expenditures. I'm hopeful to be able to at least fund a couple of these projects, but it will be very limited in number and scope because I believe in the end we need to fundamentally address this issue with our general fund. We've been facing it for well over 10 years, and I think that just continuing to do the same things every year, cutting a little bit here and a little bit there, all the low-hanging fruit has already been picked for right now.
So when will the council hold a hearing regarding this budget?
Well, the budget will be presented. It'll have to be adopted before the end of the year, so there will be additional hearings later on this year, and it will be adopted certainly before the beginning of next year. So.
Okay. You've been here about a month. What are some of your early impressions of Clark County government?
Again, as it is often the case, I mean, I know I had preconceived notions before I had familiarity with a lot of county operations. There's a large number of very hardworking and dedicated employees, and that certainly continues to be the case at Clark County. You know, the area we all know is just gorgeous. It's what I call almost an embarrassment of riches in terms of the strengths, the natural beauty, and everything else. Clark County has some difficulties just because of geography and you know, the infamous sales tax issue, which, as I told the council during the interview process, I understand that, but in the long run, I just don't see it changing anytime soon. So we need to basically just accept the fact we're not going to generate as much in sales tax. We want to, and we want to encourage it. We want to encourage as much as we can sales tax, but there's always going to be an incentive for somebody, if they can drive across the bridge, to go to Portland. But that we're attractive in other ways. We don't have the high personal income tax that's over in Oregon. So for every disadvantage, there's some advantages. Sometimes your disadvantages may outweigh, but in the end, I just don't see it changing. Let's just make the best of the situation as we have it.
Okay. So you mentioned that you haven't had much chance for free time, but
sure.
Once you get an opportunity, how do you like spending your free time?
Well, I'm a very avid reader and book collector, so there's this small little bookstore over in Portland that I've been to a few times. You know, I've been right now really focused on getting unpacked, moved in an inordinately large number of books into the home. Our dogs have been adapting well. We just found out one of them had diabetes, so that's different. I mean, I had to learn how to give a shot for the first time ever, so that was a learning experience, but she's adapting well, and we'd like to take them out for some more walks and enjoy some more of this beautiful scenery that we have around here.
Great. How can you be reached?
I can be reached, email's probably the best way. It's just Shawn.Henessee, SHAWN.HENESSEE at clark.wa.gov.
Okay.
So.
And also through the website, I know they can go to clark.wa.gov and through the website.
Yeah.
And the county manager's number is 564-397-2232.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for meeting with us, and I'm sure we'll be talking more in the future.
I appreciate it. Thank you.